Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but I think that's kind of a given by now. Welcome everyone. Hi Rose. Hi Carissa. Or Kika, I guess. Thank you for coming by. Come on, sweets. Come on. He's being very flighty today, and I don't understand why, but it is what it is. But anyway, I think... So, I'm gonna go with not masculine, feminine. I am a she. Firstly, I guess it's nice that they've, you know, added pronouns, body type, all of this. Because just because you look one way doesn't necessarily, you know, mean you're the other. Or, like, the same thing, you know. Your Highness, Your Majesty, Sire. I think I'll go with... Obviously, Your Highness. Nah, I'm gonna be humble. I'm gonna be my lady. My queen. I'm gonna go with my queen. Oh, dear me. Hi, Kanati. Hi, Risu. Hi, Ada. Hi, Fancy. Hi, Asia. Welcome. The music in this demo is placeholder music and will be replaced when the OST is complete. Not all the background assets used are final. The full game will feature many more CGs as well. Yeah, because this is a demo. They are currently, the Kickstarter is currently live, which is why I'm also kind of playing this to like showcase to people what it's all about. Of course, I don't want to do tutorial, but I'm gonna have to because I'm dumb. There are 9 different stats you can raise to build your character's personality. These stats are displayed as planet icons at the bottom of the screen. Mouse over them to see the corresponding stat. You can turn this off by turning off tooltips. You can hide the stat bar via the quick menu in the text box. I'm just gonna pick like ones that I feel are what I'd go for. Each character, on FYI, this is an R18 game, at least when it's fully released, which is interesting. Hi Zolta! My queen is nice, right? My monarch. I think it's because some people don't want to either be like a sort of set gender for certain, like I remember, I think some people are uncomfortable with being referred to as like a title that is more for women or more for men, for example. Like if they don't identify as either, then it makes them uncomfortable, which is fair enough. Kika, you're adorable. No, Tappy, I can already see what you're about to do. You're trying to bite wires. Each character has preferred traits. They also have dislike traits. Pursue your desired love interest. You'll need to think about what sort of traits they'd like and how you will rule your kingdom. Most choices have a planet icon. This represents what stat will raise upon selecting that choice. If a choice has no planet icon, it might cause the story to branch in different ways, or raise or lower multiple stats. Some choices have unlock requirements, for example. If you have a low practical stat, you might not be able to select a practical choice later. Okay, so basically your, you know, choices really do make a lot of difference. My liege wouldn't be the appropriate place for my... Nah, don't worry about it. I mean, I don't think everyone knows that. I only learned of this a while back because of something I saw on Twitter. Before that, I would have had literally no idea. So, everyone's learning. Exactly, it's fine. Terra, the Queen of Lotte. This will be my final offer. Your attempts to... No, we don't do that. This will be my final... Your attempts to avoid responding with your non-answers and flowery wording are both insulting and unamusing. My ultimatum, if I do not hear from you in 1 month's time, or your next letter does not bear favourable results, you leave me no choice. Lotte and Andromeda must be united for the good of both kingdoms. It is up to you if it must be by force. Tappy is... never behaving. The only time he's behaving is when he's sleeping, which is never. Oh, why don't you sleep? Why are you so hyper? A war is on your hands if you cannot swallow your pride. Think hard on your decision. I have the honor to be your neighbouring king, His Royal Majesty Arlem. I set the letter back on my desk and closed my eyes as the situation... Whoa! Alright, okay. If it's just my hairband, you're okay. Flutter back on my desk and close my eyes as the situation sinks in. Lorte has just been threatened by a hostile nation. Why is it that as soon as Father's gone, everything falls apart? Andromeda's messenger falcon waits patiently on the windowsill for my response, watching me with dark, glinting eyes. His presence agitates my own falcon, who sits in the corner. His blue-grey feathers are ruffled in agitation. The reddish feathers on her chest are ruffled in... I mean, I was initially going to consider calling the falcon Chappie, but it seemed a little bit too... You're not a falcon, are you? No, you're not. So, I don't know whether to go for the reddish feathers on her. Female? Male birds are more funny because they talk. My study has always been a warm, inviting place where I could go to ease the stress of the day. Now, sitting here and staring at the pile of deceivingly beautiful parchment that marks each letter King Arlem has sent me, all I feel is stress. And I like that the little, you know, things are, like, what you call it, the little symbols are, you know, all these different things. What was I after? Oh, that's it. That's what I was looking for. This is all so adorable. Chappie is very cute, so I can't hate him. From Alligator's sister. That's what I was thinking, Rose Lover. How dare he? I smile to hide the panic spreading through me. I understand where he's coming from. Is this really happening? Well, I look up to my advisor with a heavy measure of exasperation. It appears my last letter was not well received, as I predicted. And what was I to do? I can't simply agree to marriage on such short notice like this. What would you do if someone proposed to you a month after you took the throne? And not only that, but it was a proposal with a dagger on the other end. I rise and move to the large rug in the middle of the room because it is the best rug for pacing on. I can't answer that. This is about you. Well, it's only fair. You're my advisor. Advise. I would do what's best for my people, and I've told you what I believe that is. But how do you know? You will learn in time, as your father did. That I am usually correct. Father. I can't say what he would have wanted. He prided himself on the fact that Lorte was a peaceful kingdom with no history of inciting war. Hi Varga, welcome, and yes, this is the Kickstarter demo. This reminds you of question. I'm glad everyone had a lot of fun with that question. Oh, does it have an on or off switch? I guess it helps when you're streaming. And some people don't want to see too much. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, I see. I'm gonna turn it off because, like, just in case it happens in this. I don't think it will, but, like, you never know. When we were attacked by Andromeda a century ago, the soldiers slaughtered hundreds, razed houses to the ground. If we went to war, I'm sorry guys, Chappie, behave. If we went to war again, I have no doubt they would commit the same atrocities. Yet our family has ruled for generations. It was our ancestor who was first believed to be the goddess of this land and chosen as queen. To step down like that and hand power to someone else simply to avoid a fight. When you're a minor but still want to play. That's true, if you're a minor and still you want to play. Yeah. This adds help if you are playing in public. Oh yeah, that's why didn't I think of that? That's a good point. Yeah, I really like the color scheme and how, like, glittery everything is. Well, I suppose nothing is simple. I look to the window where the falcon continues to stare relentlessly. With a little sigh, I rise and walk to one of the bookshelves behind my desk, pulling out a tin of grasshoppers. What? Tin of grasshoppers. When I toss one over, he jerks his head to the side to snatch it from the air. So, oh, I see, right. The bird needs food, of course. I hear Betel tap his beak against the bars of her cage, jealous. This will take me some time. Why don't you find something else to fill you, You must be hungry after your long flight. The Andromedan falcon appears to hesitate as if he received orders to remain until a letter was given, but hunger wins out after having his appetite whet, and he flies off towards the forest. War in this day and age, I never thought we'd have to face it. The world is overdue for war. Our neighbours to the south seem to be spoiling for one. You interpret Candace's missives so negatively. I interpret them how they're meant to be read. You have yet to master the art of reading between the lines. Let us not speak of it anymore, one problem at a time. Oh, okay. Got a CG, that's nice. The bird is as bad as a cat. I make trouble only. Yeah, he's a bit... His father was a lot, like, he was really grumpy and really not tame, but when he was on your shoulder, he was, like, the perfect bird. He'd just sit there, looking grumpy, but, like, he wouldn't bother you, he'd just sit there. And I love that about him. I miss him. What do we know about King Arlam, really? No one outside of Andromeda has ever seen him. I heard he even forbids paintings or drawings of his visage. His father and his father's father were both assassinated. I think he has good reason to avoid public appearances. I've also heard that he can spellcraft. Do you think that could be true? Just because most kingdoms have lost spellcrafting in the royal line does not mean all have. It's not impossible. The only truly impressive spells that remain are the ones built into the castle. A few powering lights, running water, heated water. In the city, they must pump their water, then boil it if they want a hot bath. My maid and I used to joke that there was no king of Andromeda and that his advisor, who sends out their courtiers, was the person running the show. In his letters, he's much less interesting than the rumors. I'm sure he feels the same way about you. How lovely of you to say. Yeah, you're exhausted now, because someone's, attention seeking. Loon looks at me and sets the letter down on top of the stack. I might also say that it is inappropriate to gossip about such things with the help, but my words have fallen on deaf ears before. Thoughts frazzled and no closer to solution, I walk back to my desk and pull a sheet of fresh parchment from the pile in the corner. Leave me, I must write my response. I know, right? Monarchy privileges. Are you certain you wouldn't like me to write a draft? Loon has, no trust in terror. No, I think I should do this. Loon twists his lips as I settle myself back in my seat. I know. It's inappropriate, but this is too important to delegate. As you wish. Don't look at me like that. It's only a letter. Under different circumstances, being alone together in my study would be inappropriate, but here we are. Loon stares at me as if I've said something offensive. Your Highness, I am your advisor, not a match. I said under different circumstances. I pull my largest inkwell toward me and pick up a quill, muttering under my breath as I start formulating the letter in my head. Now leave me. Fine, don't forget, the Andromedan ambassador will be arriving soon. Today, possibly. Remember what we discussed. We want to make a good impression, lest the king decide war is preferable to tolerating you. I'm going to focus on the advice you just gave me instead of the implication that I'm not marriage material. Loon leaves and the guards outside close the door behind him. I take a breath and dip the nib of the quill into night black ink. Dear King Arlam, thank you ever so for your letter, which I've just received on this Thursday, the 13th day of Ven. I do apologise if my previous letters have come off as if I'm avoiding responding to your demands. I can assure you that was not my intention. We've been having a lovely dry season. How's the weather in Andromeda? Mild, Oh dear me. No, it's just I know quite a few people that, would get annoyed with all this flowery chitter-chatter. Hi Ivy, welcome! Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about Loon, if I'm to be completely honest. Fascinating how the planets have created Earth to be so varied. Okay. In any case, I'm afraid I'm a bit slow and should like to see your proposal written out in full before I dare even consider accepting. Please return your response at your earliest convenience with a clear outline of what you need from me. I have the honor to be your kind neighbor, Queen Terra. It takes time to both craft an appropriate response and write a draft where my penmanship is worthy of my title. By the time I finish, the falcon has returned to the windowsill. Come. I beckon him over, and as he flies and settles himself on my desk, I roll the letter into a neat scroll and seal it with my personal seal. Take this to King Arlen. Place it in no one's hands but his. The falcon gives a dutiful wave of his talons before shooting off towards the window. I watch him fly, sucking in a lungful of air and curling my toes in my shoes. 1 month, just 1 month to decide the fate of my kingdom. Hi T, welcome! I've never felt less ready to rule. I don't know whether her response is a good one because, like, didn't Loon say that he's probably... Well, didn't it say in the letter that he's fed up of her non-responses or something? That certainly was a non-response response. I don't know. I've been given 2 options, and I do not fancy the first. It does not make the second any more palatable, but if war is possible, I must confer with the general. I need to know if it's feasible or if we'd be defeated before our swords left our sheaths. After leaving my study, one of the 2 guards outside follows me down the hall. The familiar marching cadence of their heavy footsteps is simultaneously relaxing and irritating. When I'd merely been an heir, the guards had not tottered around after me like baby ducklings. I'm still attempting to let it fade into the background as father could. We take the main stairs down and then turn towards the east wing and the door to training grounds. Unsurprisingly, the general is there. What is surprising is finding him mid-duel. I recognize his opponent as one of the newer recruits. Oh, this change in music, I like it. A fresh-faced little thing who is constantly hovering around the general. I don't remember his name, but I remember how the general flushed at the kid's obvious admiration. Sorry, what? Foreign people speak so fast? I guess it is kind of like when you're learning a language and then you learn, hear someone speaking in that, you're like, sorry? He's always been too humble for his own good. The trainee is breathing hard, face red with exertion, sword arms shaking with every block and attempted swing. I wait patiently on the sidelines as they spar, knowing it will be over soon. The general is in excellent form, all his movements purposeful. He disarms the trainee with little effort and brings a wooden sword to his throat. I yield. The harsh expression leaves the general's face and he smiles, lowering his weapon. Great job, Leo. Big improvement. Okay, I like the long hair, you know. I'm a sucker for long-haired love interest. I'm guessing he's a love. I don't know if he is, but if he is, I don't know if Loon is a love interest either. I'm not sure which ones because I didn't really read into it before playing. Because I'd like going in completely blind. Ah, oh, shucks, General, you beat me something good. I'm nowhere near your level. Don't need to be. We don't count our seeds before they grow. You're right, Queen Terra! General Hamada whips around, apparently startled by my appearance. My queen. Oh, the text is wiggling. Ooh. I can't read it. I don't know why it's making me laugh. Oh my god. Sorry, but it's the wiggling text. What's got you coming all the way? I mean, is there anything I can assist you with, my queen? General Hamada, we must speak. Do you have a moment, General? General, I need your expertise. I'm gonna go with the third one. I love it. It's so fun. I don't know if it made me laugh. Things make me laugh too easily, but you know. Ah, of course. I see. Okay, that makes sense. Well, hopefully you can sort of at least pick up a few words here and there. I guess it is kind of practice, isn't it? It's admirable that you're learning English. Good luck. Hi, Lieferant. Welcome. Speaking with an accent? Maybe. But that wiggling did make me laugh. I would love it if the responses start moving. Maybe it's good if you have an option to turn it off for like those with because if you're dyslexic it might be quite hard to read it. That's just like a thought that went by my mind. The general stands a little straighter, increasing his already impressive height. Oh, he's tall as well. Sorry, I'm very basic of me, but height, that is an attractive trait. I'm happy to help. What's the puzzle? The same one I've been dealing with for the past 6 months. The general frowns in understanding. Andromeda? Precisely. I think it's better if we have a private conversation. Alright, Leo here can chaperone. I wave my hand. No, this is a delicate matter. Come with me to the council room. We will speak alone. Hey you, what are you doing down there? Oh my god. The general gives me a blank stare as if he's still a clueless 16-year-old kid I met all those years ago and not an impressive knight in shining armor. Oh, I see. So they're like kind of childhood friends, I guess? Oh, you know the Rempi add-on Vaga? Interesting. Ah, that's a decent Japanese Vaga. Not bad. PC 98 adventure game? Oh, come here. Come on. You've flown so much. But my queen, is that really... I'm surprised at you, General. I wouldn't think you cared. Oh, well, it's just I'm a match now. I thought it wouldn't be appropriate. What's a match? I'm curious what this match thing is. Oh, it's machine translated. Okay, I was about to say, like, oh, that's not bad. That's okay. That's so funny. Since my father promoted him to a general a year ago, that makes him an eligible marriage candidate. I've been around Sahi so long without having to think about that sort of thing that it's hard to change my mindset. Since my yep, okay. I shake my hand, deciding propriety will have to wait. It's fine, time is of the essence. They clearly need a meeting room or something, so you know, it's allowed to be one-on-one. We must speak, and I'd rather not call the council and have dozens of differing opinions biting at my ears. The general gives a hesitant nod. I take a step closer and speak quietly so Lee and the guard might be spared my word. Andromeda has given me a 1-month ultimatum. Understood, my queen. I'll continue my drills, General Hamada, sir. That's fine, Leo. Why don't you take a break? Overworking yourself is the quickest way to a cold, and we need our soldiers well. Yeah, they're friendly. T, I think he's used machine translation. Don't know what that's called in Japanese actually. What's machine translation in Japanese? I just realized I haven't sent the tweet. There we go. Let me get Google. I go to Google Translate sometimes because I'm like, how do you? What is that in Japanese? Machine translation. Kikai honyaku? I wonder if Kikai honyaku is an actual thing where it's just transfer. That doesn't seem right. Okay, let me put in. Can we not talk? Oh my god, what's my phone doing? Well, how are you? Oh, okay. My volume was like on. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, right. Sorry, guys. I'm curious now. Kikai honyaku. No, it doesn't. So it's an actual thing. As in, like, you know how when sometimes they translate a word into Japanese, and then it's like, it isn't actually what it is, but it's just a literal translation. It doesn't really make sense. PC 98 was a 16-bit Japanese computer model from 1990s. The VN genre was practically born in it. Most of that cool. Ah, interesting. T さん、バーグルさんは日本語を喋られるわけではなくて、機械翻訳っていうのを使ってるみたいです。Anyway. Why do I walk in as quick as... Okay. Yes, sir, I am hungry, sir. He scurries off, then skids to a halt and turns. My queen! Are all your troops so taken with you? Oh, no, I think Leo's just happy he passed his first trial. Been asking for extra lessons since he got here. Well, I'm glad to see our new recruit so eager. Come. I turned to the guard who accompanied me from my study. You're dismissed. All I need to fulfill the requirements of guard detail is someone capable with me. I much prefer Sahi. Having a guard constantly behind me rattles my nerves, as if it is inevitable that something will happen. The general comes up next to me, walking directly by my side. So, General Hamada, you should know by now that 2 steps behind is custom. I don't mind, I've known Sahi so long that he doesn't feel like a subordinate. On a whim, I slow my pace until I'm a few steps behind him. Is that because she's like teasing him? I don't know. It's okay, T. Okay. I don't know. Should we put him in his place? Oh, for goodness sake, Chappie, why are you being such a pain today? I don't know what's up with him. Normally he's not this annoying. There we go. Normally he is like drained by now, aren't you? Right, okay. I like him, so how goes the training? The new recruits are clean-faced, but they're learning quick. I can already tell who won't make it through though. You can grab the bull by the horns, but you can't make it drink. I've never understood the idioms that commoners use, but generally I'm able to get the gist. Oh, I see, so this guy's a commoner. Interesting. That's good. Is that Leo your most promising? The general frowns and scratches the side of his head. No, not at all. He's probably the worst, but he tries so plootin' hard. Well, I'm sure under your dutiful tutelage, he will grow, as you said. I'll do my best. Bless Leo. He looks like he's he's just not, he doesn't have the aptitude for it. Varga! Why are you putting it in raw veggie now? Yeah, of course it is, sir. You already know my type. These are your first recruits. Does it yet feel natural? Sahi hums, idly dragging a hand down the sharp line of his pauldron. Not yet. I still feel like I can hear General Blanchette barking in my ears. I chuckle at the memories this brings back, looking up to Sahi with a smile. Do you remember when we got in trouble for talking during our shield training? We had to hide in the stables. The general got so angry. Sahi laughs. The sound is as loud as always, bouncing off the high ceilings, and I giggle as well. He's trying to eat the button now. How could I forget? We had to bury ourselves in a pile of hay. I snicker a moment longer before managing to control myself, clearing my throat and avoiding the curious gaze of a few passing servants. Since I've become queen, it has been difficult to just speak like this with Sahi. I have missed it. We take the staircase up to the second floor, then down the hall to the council room. I know this is the most direct route, but I can't help but slow the closer we get. This takes us past the library. As soon as we pass its double doors, I falter like I have every time I've had to take this route in the past 6 months. Realised I could shove my face into my phone. Catherine, welcome by the way. I wonder if it's an option to, let's have a little dig through. I wonder if there is an option to make text bigger. Reload the game after font change. Oh, there's 2 font types. I see. You're right, Fancy. The long-haired guys are all like I don't know, there's just something about them. It's like the hair has, angst within it. And I'm glad to have you here too. This takes us past okay, we've done that bit. My queen, everything alright? Yes, my apologies. That was the last place I saw my father alive. I close my eyes against the image that threatens to overtake my brain, taking a deep breath. My head starts spinning and my knees go weak. Terra? Sahi takes hold. Oh, he touched our shoulders. How dare he? Exactly. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Their long luscious locks are watered with their tears. His gloved hands are heavy on my skin and startle me out of my head. Sahi is the only person who ever touches me, aside from the maid who helps me in the mornings. He's also the only person who slips up and calls me by name. It's not technically allowed, but he was not formally trained in royal etiquette, like the members of the court or council, or even the castle, stationed guards and servants were. Those long hairs hold secrets makes me think of the Mean Girls scene where the guy says it's those curls, it's full of secrets or something regarding Gretchen. Okay, Carissa. I think it's a bit early for Steam, probably. He had so many meetings with my father when we were younger, and I liked attending. It tickled me that we had the same scars over the same eyebrow. I felt we simply had to be friends. Father always called me Terra, so Sahi assumed it was okay to do so too. Though we're older, he still hasn't fallen out of the habit. Yes, my apologies. I just had a dizzy spell. Sahi glanced over at the door to the library, frowning. Mean Girls is amazing. It's like one of my favorite movies. It's like a classic. You have to watch it when you're like 12 if you're a girl. I'm obviously joking. You need a minute? No, I'm fine. Let us continue. If you could let go of me. He rips his hands away, clasping them behind his back as he takes a few steps in the opposite direction. Awful sorry, my queen. As we arrive in the council room, I take another deep breath to calm my frazzled nerves. There's far more to worry about than things beyond my control. The room's back wall is decorated with a large mural that details our kingdom's history. The monarch's seat has its back to this illustrated history, and as I approach, I see the ghost of my father. When I blink, it dispels the image. Close the door. When I don't hear the sound of the door closing, I turn to regard the general with a curious look. Are you sure? Sure about what? Right, you're sure. Of course you're sure. You're the queen and all. He turns and pushes the door shut slowly. I don't even hear the click of the latch. Then he turns around to face me, his hands clasped behind his back. I gesture to the seat next to me. Oh, I can't remember. I don't know how old I was when it was released. Maybe when I was like 9 or 10? I don't know. Oh, I love Legally Blonde as well. And then you've got Clueless. That's another good one. I also enjoyed Mean Girls because I totally understood why, like, the things Katie felt, because I had just moved to England and there's a lot of terminology in English that I didn't understand, like things like hot. I didn't know that meant attractive, so I was like, what? I'm so confused. Okay, T, well, oyasumi. Can you come closer? Closer, sure. I love it how, like, this guy's getting so blushy over nothing. After a few seconds, Sahi walks over to the table and pulls out the high back chair next to me. Right then, now tell me, General, realistically, what are our chances of success if we were to go to war against Andromeda? You mean you're considering... I have to look at every option, but I don't want to cause a panic. I want to hear your opinion before I bring this up to the rest of the council. Oh, you were 2. Quite young. Yeah, the first time I watched it was around 12, I think. 12. Yeah, I think 12. Nisu, well done. We have good men and women who would fight to the death for this kingdom, my queen. But? Well, you know the rumors that King Arlem can spellcraft. Yes. If there's one thing I know about Andromeda, it's that they follow tradition. He would be on the front lines, and if he's on the front lines with that kind of power, I'm not sure how we could stop him. On your 12th birthday, you gain some minuscule media literacy skills. You guys, よく寝ることです。バカ。It just sounds funny. Oh dear me. I'm guessing you put in sleep well and then it came up with that. No. He's not invincible. There must be some strategy we can try. Maybe he can only light candles with a snap of his fingers or call ice sculptures into existence by waving his hands like the Queen of Canis. But there are tales of the ancient royals that say they could rain fire down from the sky. Welcome, Brittany! Yes, I am so excited. It's releasing tomorrow for me. I'm not sure, like, you know, time zones and all, but... But yeah, I am looking forward to that. That they could reform the earth beneath your feet or freeze you solid before you can blink. Oh, come now. Surely that can't be true. Jesus' sake, what is wrong with you today, Chappie? Normally you're a bit more normal. He's just looking at me. It does sound pretty fantastic, but that's the point. We don't know. The soldiers have been gossiping about it since Andromeda's first missive. The king's passing. They're scaring themselves. That alone is enough to put us at a disadvantage. I feel it. I mean, 18 plus game means that it'll probably get spicy like later down the lines. Aw, 2 weeks. Catherine, I love the way you think. That's... Oh, dear. He reaches out one gloved hand to tap on the map etched into the wood of the table, pointing out Merrick Forest. One thing we do have on Andromeda is our resources. Our mines allow us to generate weapons and armor at a faster pace. Andromeda is so cold and mountainous, they can't explore enough of their territory to find new supply points. I suspect this is what King Alam truly wants, prosperity and ample resources for his people. That's why I think another solution would be to reopen the Betelgeuse trade route. What, really? Loon always says the trade ban is the only thing that gives us power over Andromeda. I think it would truly make a difference. It would show the king that there are ways to merge our kingdoms without resorting to war. I lean back into my seat as I consider this, squeezing my hands together, unable to help muttering under my breath. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not sure if there will be adult content in the demo. Oh, I'm glad you like the art style. I think it's really sparkly, you know? Oh yes, the king has been considering other ways to merge as well. What? Nothing. I think it's a good idea, something to consider at least. Sahi's confident posture drops, and he stares at me with wide eyes. What? Truly? Yes, why do you doubt yourself? You're the youngest general Lorte has ever had. You're clearly intelligent. Sahi ducks his head and clears his throat. Well, I can't speak to that, my queen. I just thought, you know, I should have saved the advice for Loon, since he's supposed to be the only one with your ear and all. Oh, we get to pick out of all these. Okay. Ah, you broke propriety so you wouldn't have to talk to Loon. I understand, I'd probably do the same. I will share this with the advisor. I think he'll like this idea as well. Thank you for speaking out. You know I value your opinion. That would have been more appropriate. I'm not sure which one to go with. Just gonna go with that one. Sahi gapes at me. No, that's not it. I don't got anything against the royal advisor. I just... Unable to stifle myself, I burst into giggles. I'm only joking, General. But it's nice to have all these down here, and then you have the... You can see a little... I mean, I'm only picking, like, answers I like. Oh, what are you doing? He's going on a little adventure. I reckon he's trying to eat my freckle. He's not. He's sort of behaving. Sahi has always been the sort of person who's honest to a fault, but I can't help but think he's not telling me the whole truth. The fact that he wrinkles his nose like he smelled a stinky dog fart whenever Loon walks into the room says it all. He doesn't like Loon, okay. Oh, Brittany, you're so excited. I love it. True story. Yeah, it's interesting. We've already branched, I guess. I'm conflicted with this game's art style. I like the shading and anatomy is pretty well done, but the main character's design is not my favorite, to put it lightly. It's definitely more unique, and I think because we aren't used to seeing this sort of like style, because the thing is, it's well drawn, like the proportions are good and all that, but because obviously, like, I guess it's like the face, maybe? It's not really like the usual kind of... I guess it's not anime style, that's what it is. Everyone's used to anime style, so when it's not, it feels quite like different, and it's kind of, you need to get used to it type of thing. Yeah, the main character is Terra, who appears on the bottom left corner every now and then, and she's become queen recently. Yes, exactly. Long violet purple hair. Come now, you can tell me. Sahi shifts in his chair, folding his hands in his lap. There's nothing to tell. Advisor Lemarie has his opinions. I got mine. I pout a little, leaning back in my seat, regretting the juicy gossip that I still do not have. I suppose he is simply not the type. I should get back. I do need to prepare for afternoon practice. I'll see you at your next lesson. Of course. Sahi bows and I watch him leave the room and close the door behind him. Once he's gone, I focus my attention on the table, ending the trade ban with Andromeda. Just considering it would make my father roll over in his grave, but the general is right, that is their real goal, not necessarily a uniting, but a sharing. It's like a semi-realistic but also semi-anime, and yeah, the faces are the most realistic part, which detracts from the bright purple people eater hair. Not my sis telling me she's going out at 8:30 AM tomorrow to buy. Your sister's such a huge fan. Excuse me, little one. Hmm? He's being such a rascal. Yeah, the style. I'm not. It's not just me, right? He's being more of a pain than usual. Is that just me? I swear it's not just me. I saw you get angry there. Yeah, the styles on I feel like the eyes are a bit too high up maybe on Sahi, but yeah, as you said, it's just a style we are not really used to. Yeah, it's quite unique. I'm gonna have to put him back in a moment if he carries on like this. It's for Switch. It's basically like a sequel type thing of Breath of the Wild. Once he's gone, I focus my attention on the table, ending the trade ban with Andromeda, just considering it would make my father roll over in his grave. But the general is right, that is their real goal, not necessarily a uniting, but a sharing. If our two kingdoms were bonded by marriage, then trade ban would no longer be appropriate. It would have to be amended. Perhaps it is something King Olam would consider. Oh, of course. But yeah, that's the thing, time zones and all. I guarantee I'm glad, because I always feel like he distracts me and then I don't go into the story as much, and he will be going back in a moment though. I suppose there's only one way to find out. Though nothing has changed, I feel better with this additional option, less backed into a corner. Even still, I must make a decision. He's getting like all pissy with like going on my finger now, because obviously every time he goes somewhere that he shouldn't be going, I use my finger to plop him up and put him somewhere else. So when I do it too many times, he gets really annoyed. Though nothing has changed, I feel better with the additional option, less backed into a corner. Even still, I must make a decision. Do I agree to... Right, that's it. Sorry, buddy, but it's been longer than normal anyway, so you are gonna have to go back in. Anyway, now I can actually concentrate on the game. Bless him, it's fine. He's been out longer than usual. I could appoint Loon or Sahi, and I'm sure they'd do an excellent job running the kingdom in my stead. But that isn't the point. This is my birthright. I've long waited to take the throne, to be Lotte's ruling monarch. I love it how you like watching him cause trouble. While it did not happen the way I intended, this is all I ever wanted. Could I give that up for guaranteed peace? I don't know. Misaki's right. There are too many unknowns about Andromeda's capabilities. We would need to gather more information. Perhaps the Andromedan ambassador, when he arrives, will give us some insight. I know that Loon would see ending the trade ban as the most extreme option. It goes against all the history we have with Andromeda. I sigh and trace the route from Lorte to Andromeda on the map with my finger. Ow! A spark startles me and I yank my hand back, annoyed. Knowing nothing will come of brooding, I rise and walk to the door. Just before I swing it open, there's a knock. My queen, I have... news! I will open the door to see Celeste, my personal maid. What is it? She looks like she's barely holding back her excitement. For Celeste, though, this isn't saying much. She gets the same way whenever Loon walks into the room. I wonder if she's also a love interest. The Andromeda ambassador is here with royal guard. Oh, wait until you see. They make quite a picture. Already? Loon had said soon, but I hadn't imagined it would be this soon. Yes, will you change? I look down at my dress. What is wrong with this? Celeste leans back and threads her fingers together. Nothing, of course, my queen. It's just very, well, I mean, you have at least 3 fine dresses, but you wear the same thing every day. Wouldn't you like to shake it up a little? He will be reporting everything to someone who would be your future husband. I do not wear the same thing every day, and I hardly care what impression the Andromeda ambassador has of me. Celeste pouts in disappointment. She loves any excuse to dress me up, really. I'm like a giant doll to her. After a moment, she peers past me into the room. I just saw General Hamada leave here. Were you two alone? We were discussing a private matter. My queen, I did not see this coming. What? Celeste. The general and I were just talking. Honestly, must you corrupt every scenario you come across? In this world, being just with one person means like something whole entirely different. Well, that's a relief. I think you could do much better. Oh, wow, okay. What? What's wrong with the general? Nothing. Just, well, he's a bit of a brute, isn't he? And rather plain. I know everyone in the castle loves him, but whose opinion will you trust? Some servant you don't know from the stars? Or me? I fold my arms across my chest, struggling not to look amused. Better to be in good spirits for this critical meeting, I suppose. It will be hard, though. What sort of king sends his ambassador when he is supposedly trying to woo someone? Come on then, I'm ready. This is so exciting. Did you know this is the first time Andromedans have stepped foot on Lorte soil in nearly 200 years? No, I did not. Oh, my queen, that was a trick question. That was only just in your history lesson the other day. You must pay more attention. You're queen now. If you never finish your lessons, what will people think? The scandal! Oh, I'm feeling something itch. Did Chappie accidentally scratch my neck or something? It feels so uncomfortable. Hey, tricking the queen is against the law. Now come on, have they been taken to the throne room? Yes, they're there now. Sirius is keeping them entertained. Unless you acquire gossip about you. Oh god. Chat was live when Chappie was here. Yeah, Chappie gets the chat going. Right. Catherine! Celeste and I hurry down the hall. When we arrive in the throne room, my council is already there, including the advisor and general. A full delegation of Andromedans wait in the center of the room. They're dressed so strangely and clothes lined with fur that's much too warm for the weather here. Front and center is a man with an imperious expression who I assume must be the Andromeda ambassador. All of the Andromedans are much taller than us lords, but the ambassador in particular towers over them all. He might even be taller than Loon, and he's the tallest snout I know. Nerves freeze my stomach. My palms grow so cold it feels like they're sweating frost. This is my first time meeting a foreign official as queen. It is my first time meeting a foreign official at all. I know, right? I really like the colour scheme they've gone for. It's good. I never accompanied my father on trips to other lands, and it was not common for us to get visitors tucked away in the mountain as we are. I'm too busy eating melon jelly? I've never heard of that. Everyone needs a chappy in their life. He is really cute, but he's such a pain sometimes. Like today, I don't know what was wrong with him. He was like jumping up and down everywhere. Yeah, must be. Because they were talking about how they can't get to the materials due to the ice and stuff. Once I'm seated, a servant steps forward to announce our guests. Introducing his lordship, Ambassador Rift Karim of Andromeda. The ambassador steps forward, coming to stand before the throne. You are Queen Terra, I assume? Do you keep all your guests waiting so long? Okay, well, we've already made him mad, so that's great. He speaks in a booming voice that seems to fill the entire room, making me lean back in my seat. I am taken aback by the criticism, unused to being spoken to so rudely. Oh, burn! Yes, it is a latte tradition. Thank you for I like that one. Do all your men attempt to bully their way into marriage? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. No, screw that. No, he can, like, he's got it coming for him. You are in my castle now, Ambassador. I expect to be treated with respect as I have respected your king by allowing you here. Is the king so afraid of his own shadow that he will not deign to grace me with his presence? Oh, I love these. I decide to ignore the question. Welcome to Lotte, Ambassador. I hope this will be a peaceful assembly. I think I'm gonna go for execute. Catherine, you're so so extreme. Eating fruit snacks without unhealthy. I want fruit gummies. I'm either gonna go for that or if we ignore him, it just makes him sound really like petty, you know. So I guess it's kind of a good thing. Oh, the temptation to go for this one though. I love it so much. I'm sure, like, it's an otome game, so it will have a. I just need to go back, but. If I'm playing Queen, I'm gonna roleplay myself into Marie Antoinette position. I like that. Oh, of course they will have, like, because I knew they all meant things. So confident, practical, witty, impulsive, naive, spoiled, aggressive, strategic, gentle. Oh, I am so tempted by this one, but it's so bitchy. Also, I might have come sooner had a king waiting for me and not just as ambassador. It's like kind of saying that you're clearly, like, I don't know, that makes you seem a little bit weak. I think I'll go for this one. That one makes me laugh. Why do you find it funny when it says oishi? Oh, I'm so jealous you have konjac zeri. I had jelly shots before. Was in like mixing jelly with liqueur and stuff. Be the bitch you want to see. The ambassador wrinkles his nose in confusion and stares at the ground, seriously considering my words. I allow him to... Oh, yeah, that's it. I allow him to wonder, crossing my legs and folding my hands in my lap. As the silence begins to grow awkward, Loon speaks. The Queen does so enjoy humor. Please accept our greatest welcome to our home. Ah, humor. Sorry, it's the wiggly letters. Apparently neither of them thought it was very funny. There are another few seconds of silence before the ambassador lifts his heads and claps his hands together. Our people have not communicated in person for 200 years. Easing the tension with humour is an excellent idea. Well, everyone laughed. Is he being sarcastic? The accompanying Andromedan members and guards were given... Oh. I'm sorry, but if I was the queen and this happened, I would be in tears. I'd be like, what is this? Your humour is very different from ours, but the gesture is acknowledged. I already hate him. I've never regretted sarcasm before. As declared in our last letter, I have come to discuss the options for Lotte and Andromeda moving forward. Yes, your king seems fairly intent on two. Those are the only options he sees. You have been dismissive of my king's letters. Dismissive is a strong word, Loon warned me, but I did not initially grasp the gravity of the situation. It was hardly a month after my father's death that the first letter came. There were other things on my mind. Not dismissive, I simply have not made up my mind. He folds his arms across his broad chest. That is why I am here. We hope an in-person discussion will help you come to a decision. I sit forward in my chair and narrow my eyes. The king said that I would have a month. Is he going back on his word? Not at all. I look forward to spending the next month with you, Queen Terra. He cannot be serious. I snap my eyes over to Loon, but he seems unsurprised by this turn of events. I suppose it is unreasonable to expect him to leave immediately after a journey that took weeks. Loon badgering me daily about what I will do is enough. To have an entirely new council doing the same thing? On top of that, having him and the other Andromedans in the castle for so long makes me uneasy. What if their intentions are less than honourable? What if this is all a ploy to gather intel for an inevitable war? Calm down, Terra. You're getting as paranoid as Loon. I take a breath, force myself to relax, and nod my head. Right. Allow me to introduce my company. I have with me 3 of the king's most trusted council members, Isis, Damza, and Jalil. He does not acknowledge the other 6 with him. Considering 3 are dressed in armour and carry weapons, I assume they are members of the royal guard. The others look to be servants. Welcome to Lotte, Council. You will meet my own council in due time. Still feeling rather blindsided, I cannot help but call out their timing. I must admit, I was not expecting you so soon. We made good time through the valley. The weather was on our side. Maybe that's like decoration, like... Yeah, I wonder what it is. Is he greying, maybe? The planets must have blessed your path. Realizing I have not introduced Loon, I press an open palm in his direction. Ah, this is my royal advisor, Loon Lemaire. He will, of course, be joining our discussions. Yes, we spoke while waiting for you to arrive. Suddenly, I do regret showing up late. I'll have to ask Loon what exactly he said later. Eager to end the tedious greetings, I rise and Loon does as well. In honour of this momentous occasion, we shall hold a grand ball the week of your departure. I forced a smile glancing at Loon and wondered why on earth he said that. I vaguely recall a tradition like that tucked away in our laws for visiting dignitaries, but surely the play at propriety could be excused. We are on the brink of war. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. It could be like people from Andromeda have like things sticking out of... I don't know. We'll have to see other Andromedans to be able to really tell, I guess. There's a smattering of applause, so all I can do is lift my hands and clap as well, exhausted at the thought of the long month that awaits. I give my excuses. Well, you must be tired from your journey. Sirius will be your personal servant during your time here. They will show you and your ensemble to your rooms. We will meet first thing in the morning to discuss your concerns. It's fashionable back in Andromeda. I gesture for Sirius to do just that and turn to leave the way I came. No, I want to speak now. You have been putting it off for far too long. I'm hardly prepared to meet, especially with the new options Sahi has presented to me. I grit my teeth and glance at Loon. He does not indicate what he thinks I should do. It figures when I actually want his opinion, he remains silent. Ah, there we go. Okay, Brittany. As the words leave my mouth, I feel regretful. I had not wanted to be pushed around by this ambassador, but here I fold under the first bit of pressure. I sigh a little under my breath. Instead of folding, I will think of it as getting it over with. This first meeting is bound to be the messiest. After this, things should run smoother. Such discussions are best held in the council room. I agree. Loon bows to the ambassador before turning and beginning the march to the staircase. I feel comforted by Loon's presence, as I know that he will, at the least, always have something to say. I increase my stride until I can walk next to him, speaking quietly. Please keep your opinions about the marriage to yourself. My queen, I will speak nothing of decisions you have not yet made for yourself, even if I think you are being foolish. Well, shooting stars, thanks ever so. I wish I weren't so nervous. I knew the ambassador would be coming soon, even if not quite this soon. The air is tense and filled with whispers. To no surprise, my council leans close to gossip amongst themselves, eyes flicking to the Andromedans every so often. The Andromedans do the same, leaving everyone shifting and bobbing in a bizarre dance. The Louds have their usual seats, and the Andromedan council members sit in guest seats that have been pulled up as the second ring around the table. Ambassador Rift sits directly opposite my chair. I can feel his eyes on me as I enter the room, but I choose to ignore him as I walk around the table. Sahi is already in his seat to my left, and Loon takes his to the right. I am the last to sit. I would like to begin by saying, the king sends his gratitude for allowing his presence in Lotte to discuss the future of our kingdoms. I nod and keep my expression as neutral as possible. With your father, King Terra I, dead, the path ahead is clear. Beneath the table, my hand curls into my skirts. The late king promised you to King Arlam to unite our two kingdoms. Oh, so he promised. Okay, in which case that kind of has to happen, right? Excuse me? Promised. The agreement was made long ago, on your 22nd birthday. You were to become King Alarm's bride. You lie! What's that one again? Imp? Impulsive. I think explain yourself would be best. I intend to. In our monthly correspondence, the king and I discussed the future of Lotte and Andromeda. We both agreed that the only way forward was together. A marriage is the most logical option. King Alarm and you are both of marriageable age and unspoken for. It is as simple as that. Yeah, I know, but like, if that's what her father wants, and I don't know, it does kind of make sense, if you know what I mean. Rather than there being a full-on war. Because, you know, I'm not really, like, I don't really know how law works in this realm or whatever, because law is different even in countries, so... My blood boils beneath my skin. I would not believe that my father would promise me away without my consent. He knew it has always been my wish to take the throne. Oh dear me. I'm not too fond of him either. I think it's the petals on his face. Well, we don't actually know what it is actually, but King Alarm has ruled in Andromeda for the past 7 years. He has seniority over me. If I marry him, it will be his decision if we will share responsibility in Andromeda. I don't have to guess what his decision will be. You fancy. I see that you found that amusing. I expect you have proof of this monthly correspondence? He snaps his fingers. One of his servants steps forward from where they wait close to the wall. He pulls a bundle of letters from a pouch at his waist and places them on the table. My heart pounds in my ears, but I do my best to keep my expression calm. Every part of me cries out with excuses. They must be forgeries, taken out of context. I will not know until I open them, but to do so now would be a mistake. I see. I'll review these later to verify the validity of your claim. You must understand that this comes as somewhat of a shock to the Queen. I waited until this setting to bring it up because I did not want to appear to disparage your father's name or question his honour. I hold nothing but respect for the late king, but promises were made and I intend to see them through. We certainly understand your point of view. Understand? No, I understand nothing. My father promising a way to the ruler of a place our kingdom has been at odds with for centuries? It doesn't make any sense. In the meantime, perhaps we might discuss other things. For example, the terms of the marriage. What will happen to the boarders were a wedding to move forward? The ambassador nods, apparently content to change the subject for the time being. I am not content. I sit as tall as I am able, but my mind is spinning. I will permit time to review the letters. Loon leads the rest of the meeting, effortlessly directing attention away from the listless eyes and keeping the ambassador and his council engaged. I pull myself together and come up with a few important topics that I'd rather cover sooner than later. I speak when I can, and when I do not feel certain of my words, I pass the ball to Loon, who's always been an expert sounding intelligent without saying. I mean, that's the most logical, isn't it? There are several things I know must be discussed, even if I'm talking around them, because I do not yet want an outcome decided. I need more information before I can effectively dispute these claims, and I have every intention of disputing them. It doesn't make sense. What benefit would my father have from marrying me off? He has no other heirs. He would have been forced to choose a successor. I can't believe he was willing to end our family's rule over Lotte. After hours of debate over an obscure clause in our treaty that forbids the carrying of Lotte fruits over the Andromedan border, I decided it is time to adjourn. We all know that we cannot discuss the asteroid in the room, and that's all we're interested in talking about, so we grow increasingly pedantic. We will reconvene in a week's time. There's a general agreement, and I am the first to stand. I walk swiftly to the door, all too eager to get away from the enclosed space to be alone with my thoughts. My queen. We will speak later. I need some time. Just before I can exit, the ambassador grabs my wrist. I yank it away. How dare you touch me? My apologies. I only wish to implore you consider our options very carefully. I glower at him and lift my head. Make no mistake, ambassador. Any decision made will not be made lightly. I exit the room. Anger is plain on my face, and my steps are a touch too forceful. It did not matter so much before I was queen, but now, I don't like people seeing me like this. My first instinct is to go to the gardens. When the guard leaves me at the door, a bead of tension eases between my shoulders. I walk until I reach the fountain and sit on one of the stone benches. The dry sun beats down aggressively on my head, but it is a relief after the cool air in the castle. An arranged marriage. I knew it would happen one day, but the King of Andromeda? Father, what were you thinking? A voice in my head whispers what I will find out soon enough. The sight of that stack of letters on the round table is burned into my mind, each envelope thick, as if every correspondence had taken several pages. Had my father so much to discuss with me behind my back? Lost in thought, I do not hear footsteps coming up the path until they are directly next to me. I thought I'd find you here. Advisor. Loon exhales a long sigh, staring at me from beneath narrowed eyes. My queen, please understand when I say this that it is only to be of assistance. You're being childish. Childish? The burden of the crown is a heavy one. You are just now realizing. But your father knew this well. He had to make his hard decision, just like you do now. You're right. For once, will you stop being the reasonable one? I just don't want to leave Lotte. Of course I am. Being right is my job. I lift a hand to rub at my temples, taking a few steadying breaths. It was just very disturbing. I know, I would admit to being caught off guard myself, but you must present a strong front to these people. You did well at the meeting, but now you need to carry on. I look up at Loon, finding solace in these words. Do you think so? I'm not the type to give empty praise. No, I suppose not. It is challenging presenting a strong front when I feel like I'm standing on a tower of bread. Take heart, my queen. Unsteady as you may be, there is a solid foundation ready to support you, if you will let it. Are you referring to yourself? Astute as ever, my queen. I'm still curious as to who the love interest... I'm guessing Loon and... Oh god, was he Sahi? I think Sahi's one. Or at least he gave off that vibe. I'm also wondering if the R18 stuff is like just text only or whether it's like CGs as well. I smell, eyes drifting back to the fountain. I know that sitting here and worrying is not the answer, but just when I feel I am in control, something sweeps my doubts back at my feet. I know Luna's right. It does not matter how I'm feeling. All that matters is that I appear strong. I cannot lead if my followers doubt my conviction. Is that what you do then? Is what I do? Just pretend to be confident, so I'll trust what you're saying. Creepy old guy. Oh my god, I love that so much. Creepy old man vibes. I don't know how I feel about Loon. He just seems all work and no play. If I told you that, it would no longer work, would it? We need to see those letters. I know that he's right. Better to see them sooner rather than later, like cutting off an infected limb. It is silly, but part of me desperately wishes I could push the whole ordeal aside and attend evening entertainment like everything is normal. Something tells me after I read these letters, I won't feel much like attending. Perfect for Ray! Oh dear. Alright, I am ready. Loon nods. Advisor, tell me again how you knew you would find me in the garden. This is always where you go when you're having a tantrum. I beg your pardon? Loon pretends not to hear me and walks back to the castle doors. I hesitate. I know that whatever is in those letters, I will see a side of my father I never have before. In my eyes, he was just that, father. But he was also a king. Kings have subjects, and kings have pawns. I never considered before that I could be one of the latter. We walk through the castle halls slowly as I'm dragging my feet. I know that Loon is frustrated, but luckily he has the patience of a planet and he says nothing. He's a bit mean. Is it tough love? Is that what it is? When we arrive at my study, I find the letters already present on my desk. I see you have taken the liberty of entering my study without my permission. Where else was I to put the letters? I want to be annoyed, but I'm too exhausted from all the negative emotions I've been letting sink inside my bones recently. I take a seat and adjust the crown on my bed. It feels heavier than usual. There are 14 letters, the first one dated all the way back to 2 years ago. I'm not sure where to begin. The beginning is always a smart choice. I shoot Loon an irritated look, but pick up the letter with the oldest date. What is SPO again? Spontaneous? No. Spoiled, that's it. I'm so frazzled, the tidy black script on the page looks like gibberish for several long seconds before I'm able to make sense of it. I skip over the first few lines, knowing they're nothing but greetings and polite fillers, heading straight to the meat of the letter. yet ready to consider the trade ban up for discussion. However, I do have another proposal for you. You are at an age where soon you will need a partner to help your kingdom in balance. It is my understanding that you have yet to express interest in any of the eligible matches in Andromeda. I assume you have not looked at Lorte due to our history, but I write to tell you that your interest would be welcomed. That's a study. It's so... I mean, I'd like a study like that. That's so good. Like, it's super cute. My heir, Terra, will soon be of marriageable age. I believe it would be in both of our kingdoms' interests to make arrangements. This union could bring a new era of peace between our people. Terra still has much to learn about being a suitable ruler and suitable match, but this time will be nothing compared to the decades of our kingdom have been at odds. That is why, with the signing of this letter, I officially list Terra as a betrothal prospect and vow that on Terra's 22nd birthday, the marriage may move forward. You have always... I cannot read any further. I dropped the letter to the desk, eyes staring forward, sightless. My 22nd birthday is in the next few short months. I notice my hand shaking and pull it close to me to hide it underneath the desk. Not only had my father promised me away, he had done so of his own accord. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like not really that surprised. There was no threat, no imminent danger that could only be resolved by a political marriage. This letter is from 2 years ago. That means that for all the times you spoke of me taking the throne, my father had no intention of actually allowing it. I would like her to continue reading the letter though. Oh, you're shopping for shoes? Oh, I haven't bought like a girly pair of shoes in forever. It needs to, I know, right? It's like classic. Ada likes shopping. He lied to me. My chest aches for the betrayal. My queen? Yes, advisor? My voice comes out hollow. With some effort, I turn to look up at Loon. There's a distinct look of discomfort on his face, as if my emotion makes him uncomfortable. I'm gonna tears well up in my eyes, obviously. My queen, please stop that, because it makes him even more uncomfortable and that makes me laugh. The tears spill over my cheeks and I cover my face with my hands, embarrassed by my behaviour. I am a queen, yet here I am crying over being lied to by my father. Oh yeah, the purple is kind of render fleur sort of vibe. There's no helping it. My whole life I've been led to believe I would take the throne in Lorte. Why? Why bother with the deceit? I thought there were no secrets between us. I thought he shared everything with me. If he'd told me he thought this was best, that this was right, then I could have accepted. But this... Loon clears his throat and takes a step back. You knew that you would need to marry for political reasons. Surely there's no need for... He gestures at my face. He's so awkward. Yes, but in Lorte I was told I was destined to rule. It's my birthright. These words make Loon stiffen. He turns away from me, one hand lifting to cover his mouth. Leave me. Loon opens his mouth like he might protest, then closes it again and shakes his head. As you wish. Oh, an advisor? Call just the Lorte Council together in the morning. There's something we must discuss. Loon gives a short bow, then hurries to the door. For a second, all I can do is stare out the window. Then I stand. Yeah, that's the thing. And then your child would be the heir, right? So... I agree. Ooh. These earphones do kind of... They're a bit uncomfortable. But I need them when Chappie's out, because otherwise he tries to chew the wires. It feels difficult to be in a place where I spent so much time with my father, but there's nowhere else in the castle I could go that wouldn't remind me of him. So instead, I go to the stables. A ride could be just what I need to clear my head. As I am now, I don't think I'm going to have any productive thoughts. I consider briefly calling a servant to prepare one of my horses, but push the idea aside. I'll do it myself, rather have as little human contact as possible. The guard behind me is already enough to set me on edge. When I reach the stables, Sahi is there, rushing down his destrier mare. I walk in and the guard remains posted outside, facing outward in case of threats. He stops rushing a moment to stretch, and as he's rolling out his shoulders, he spots me. My queen, unusual to see you here this time of the day. Sahi and my father were close, perhaps closer than the two of us were. Knowing this, I stop at the stable entrance, unable to approach. Could Sahi have known this whole time what was coming and refrained from telling me of my father's orders? My queen? Everything okay? Well, yeah, but like, she'll have a kid, and if it's a boy, then if the husband dies, she will technically be ruling through her heir. Or, I mean, not always, because you obviously can get... The father can obviously give that role to, like, one of his advisors or whatever. But your heir will still be ruling. But to be fair, you got a point, especially given at the beginning you get to like pick your pronouns and stuff. Besides, it could be a situation like where what happens is the king becomes king consort, and it is the queen that rules. That could happen. Queen and king consort. Yes, General, I have a question I must ask you. It is regarding my father. I know you and he were close. I don't know about that. Oh, don't be coy. You saw him more than I did. Yeah, it was, well, I'm real sorry for your loss. Our loss. Sahi bows his head in agreement. I close my eyes, pushing away the grief. This conversation is not about that. I think he'd be king consort. Because he would be married to a queen, so... I thought it was king consort. I'm getting confused now. Let me Google it. To be fair, you might be right. It'd be like, Elizabeth I. So, king consort is a rarely used, in brackets, or disputed title to describe the husband of a queen regnant. So yeah, king consort, there we go, done! Oh, but Prince Philip was also referred to as king consort. It seems to be like, I guess that's why it says disputed here. / rarely used. Apparently he's prince consort, like, well, Prince Philip as well as king consort type of thing. So apparently normally it's prince consort, but king consort is like what you can call, but it's like if you know what I mean, like one of those wishy-washy terms. It takes me some time to formulate a question that will lead to the answer I want. In all your time together, did he ever say anything about me that might have stuck out? What do you mean? I don't know, anything unusual or unexpected? Well, he talked about you a lot, how proud he was, how your studies were going, what song you were learning on the violin. Learning on the violin, normal things a father might say. Oh, Catherine, are you okay? But yeah, you're right. Prince Philip was always known as Prince Philip, so... The heir of the throne would be when Terra and... Oh, I see what you mean. Because if Terra was a guy and he ended up... If he married a king of Andromeda and they're gay... That's a good point. Where would they have an heir? Or would that be like their brother's child or something? Just felt my knowledge stat become. I know that feeling. I know exactly how you feel. I can't help but purse my lips, less amused than I might normally be. That was it. Sahi hums. I press further, deciding a direct prompting might help. Did he ever speak of marriage? Marriage? Sahi looks away, clearly flustered. That reaction seals it for me. Planning? I don't think it was a plan. I just might have mentioned that I... Wait, you? Marrying me off to King Alarm was your idea? Sahi goes pale. What? No! Confused, I turn away and place my hands on my hips. No, I don't know anything about that. Hey, don't cry. I startled to see Sahi come up at my side, bringing a hand to my face. I hadn't even realized I was crying. It's okay, tell me what's going on. I shake my head, but the words spill past my lips before I can stop them. My father, he promised me to King Alam. He started this whole thing. Oh. I duck my head and wipe away more tears, horrified that Sahi is seeing me like this. With my eyes closed, I'm startled when he pulls me in, tucking me against his chest. Aww. His armor is warm from the heat and his gloved hand is gentle against my shoulder. Oh my god, she's so cute. She's got purple lips as well. That's so adorable. Don't cry, Terra. I don't know why he would do that, but I do know that you are the most important thing in the world to him. He had to have a good damn reason. Sahi's arms are warm and strong around me. It's strangely comforting, and yet my heart doesn't know what to make of it. This masculine Terra can have any pronouns. I have decided Terra can be a trans man. No Omegaverse needed for baby bloodlines. Yeah, I mean that works too. It's so cute, right? She looks like Princess Peach, but like a purple version. Hi Anita, welcome. I think she looks so cute. The close contact when I'm not used to any at all makes me feel anxious. It makes my stomach flip over on itself. General, please. Sahi squeezes me tighter and I squeak in surprise. Please what? Please, release me. In an instant, Sahi's arms are gone. He takes a few steps back, the tips of her ears red. Sorry, my queen. You just looked like you needed a hug. My whole body feels tingly. I rub my arms, looking down at the ground. Maybe I did. I glance over my shoulder, seeing the guards still standing at the stable entrance, none the wiser. You should be careful though, General. The guards would not be happy if they saw you touching me like that. Of course, I'm sorry. Which monarchic society would just accept an adopted heir, and from which country would he come from? And royal marriage without legitimate blood heirs is a recipe for civil war. Yeah, it's complicated. It gets so complicated. Did I hear correctly that some duke is the one getting the crown and not the incompetent disgrace? No, we literally just had Prince Charles's coronation. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit, I think everyone's interest in the monarchies kind of like ended with Queenie, because like the thing is, I don't know. But they do have to be relatives. I guess it's on the sly though. Incompetent, disgraceful prince. Which one, Zolta? Oh god. He looks so upset by the misstep, and I feel guilty pointing this out. But thank you. I enjoyed it. I don't think I've ever had a hug before. Sahi leans away from me, eyes bulging out of his skull. But I did learn something interesting the other day. Apparently if the monarchy were to be, you know, like, what do you call it? Gotten rid of. I don't know what the official term of that is. We'd have to pay more money. Because of, I can't remember why, they explained it to me and it all made sense, but I've forgotten why now. But I was like, oh, I see. I mean, I'm very much on the stance of I don't really, it doesn't bother me. Like, I really don't care if we have or don't have a monarchy, but it does bring in tourism. I mean, I don't really... I'm not gonna lie, I really like Lady Diana, so I don't know how I feel about the whole thing. Yeah. I know this sounds really bad, but I'd rather have Kate Middleton and William on the throne. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's because I like Lady Diana, or what I remember of her anyway. TV tax? Catherine, I love that. Lady Diana was like such a, like, everyone loved her, and you know, well, most people did. Oh god, Fancy, I just, just everything about it is so cringy. I remember learning of something Prince Charles said to I can't remember what it was, but it was super cringy, and I was like, I wish I didn't know that. I really like Kate Middleton because, like, I think she's had such a struggle coming into royal family, and, like, you know, I think it's been rough for her naturally, but she's just kind of, she's you know, dealt with it well, and now I think she's got everyone's respect, or at least I think everyone respects her. Out of all of them anyway. Oh god. Which one? I don't actually know how it works. Who was okay, we need to stop talking about this and actually focus on the game. What? Not even from your mama or papa? Well, you know, my mother died in childbirth, and why would my father hug me? I love it how the conversation about monarchy just came from, like, who would have what babies, and like who would... Oh god. Wasn't like, didn't Charles say something about A certain thing that women use and wanting to be it inside of Camilla. That's what someone told me. Oh god. Oh my god, dressing back to dressing the part. That'd be funny. I seem to have rendered him speechless because he does not go on. In my case, I suppose I'll know where to go should I need another one. It will have to be our secret though. Oh, I'm always here if you need me, my queen. You know you can count on my back. I don't even try to decipher that and just nod, letting out a sigh. I'm curious what the King of Andromeda's like. Well, I'm going for a ride. Enjoy the rest of your evening, General. I love that. I love that so much. They're just a bunch of children in the forest and we have to pick one. Sorry, enjoyed for Handmaid's Tale, but to be fair, that Duchess or whatever was one of the best dressed there. Knock off Serena Joy. Oh dear. As I prepare my horse for the brief journey ahead, I feel the hair on the back of my neck prick up. When I turn my head, Sahi is watching me from the stable entrance. I'm hoping King Andromeda is hot, hot, hot if the main character's gonna have to marry him. He quickly turns, however, disappearing out of sight. It still won't sink in. To have my father agree to proposal is one thing, but for him to suggest it with no prompting? Why, father? The worst part is I'll never know. The next morning, I feel sufficiently ready to tackle the task ahead of me. Yesterday I was too flustered to do anything but remain on the defensive, but today I have centered myself. Last night's prayers helped ease my troubled mind. After a brisk walk around the garden, I enter the council room just in time for the meeting. Loon looks up at my entrance, relief in his eyes. I'm rather offended that he thought I would not attend. I read a book about an infertile queen faking a pregnancy and adopting some child from the woods to raise up a surprise. That would be much nicer than she was beheaded or divorced or whatever. What if the king is an absolute dog? Oh my god. So you grow them in like a garden. Oh my god. This conversation. My queen, please, we have been patient. You must tell us your thoughts about Andromeda's proposal. Personally, I believe marriage is the best option. We are nowhere near ready for war. Ha! Our weapons are far better than theirs. We must crush them in war and show that Lotte is not to be messed with. This is why I asked us all to meet. The general had an interesting idea the other day. I meet Sahi's eyes and they go wide as if he had not really expected me to bring it before the council. When Varga said Giga Chad, I was thinking of Chad from College Craze. Oh, did he? Loon shoots Sahi a look. He proposed ending the trade ban. The words are an effective silencer. The few remaining whispers that floated around stop. All eyes focus on me in various forms of disbelief. A trade agreement? They would do nothing but take advantage. King Arlem is a lot of things, but he has not proven himself to be underhanded. It is possible that this is all he truly wants. My queen, I do not think it wise to take the advice of a commoner. The general may sit here with us now, but let us not forget where he came from. He does not even have any formal schooling. I thought the idea a smart one. Well, ending the trade ban does not necessarily mean immediately opening up all goods to trade. We could do it in steps. It could, in fact, increase our dwindling revenue. Andromeda has been our enemy for centuries. The second we give them access to our mines and our forests, they will begin amassing a stockpile of weapons they will use to invade. As paranoid as ever, I see. I'll show you paranoid. Members of the council, let us discuss this calmly. I see this as the viable third option, one that might just solve the problems we have with the other two. However, As Council Member Bellatrix mentions, there is a chance that this good faith gesture might be taken advantage of. Even if it is not, we lose whatever leverage we currently have over Andromeda. I'm not saying I've made my decision, merely that this is something to consider as well. There's a general murmur of agreement. At my side, Loon leans close to me. I suppose then, since you are so intent on considering this option, you have also considered the specifics. What do you mean? Well, there are 184 clauses in the trade ban. Each one must be addressed. Yes, well. Will citizens be allowed to cross borders? Will there be a merchant limit? Will goods still be regulated? Each question Loon lists off makes me feel more and more unsure of myself. I'm not so naive as to believe it could be a clean split, but I didn't realise it would be that complicated either. Well, those are decisions we can make when smoothing out the fine details. And what if one of those details is determined to be impossible to manage? What if King Arlem does not accept our proposal for an alternative? There must be some sort of regulations in place, we agree on that, yes? Oh, obviously free trade would be a disaster. The other council members begin chiming in, each bringing up one more facet that I had not taken into consideration. I know that Loon is watching me, waiting for me to crumble, but I try and remain firm even as my head begins to spin. What? I love how everyone's like, what? About what Fancy just said? What? How will this new proposal be different from... You're joking, right, Fancy? Because these people are just like, they're not really... How will this new proposal be different from a peace treaty? Andromeda does not have a good history with peace treaties. Do they even have any currently in place? Ha, Andromeda, peace. This is a laugh. One thing we all agree on is that it is doable, yes? The room goes silent. Well, in theory, yes? Yes, certainly doable if we consider it in the light. Doable, yes, but you must think of the effort it would take to dismantle such a complicated system. Yes, well, you could say that war will take time and effort as well, even marriage. We will need to establish a new treaty between Andromeda and Lortea if marriage were to move forward. Would that not be just as time-consuming? That is a fair point, my queen. I don't think you're taking into consideration that a marriage between two kingdoms allows for certain certainties. A new trade proposal does not do that. I was about to say, that sounds like Fancy being silly. I hold up a hand. I have made up my mind. We are all in agreement that it is a viable option, and I will consider it so. I always see like different facial proportions and stuff as just the art style. The conversation continues, but again dwindles into argument before long, and so I call it. I mean, I guess if they like... If the artist likes drawing like that, then that's their style, and you know, that's fair enough. I'm sure some people probably really like this art style, for example. I think that is enough for the day. You are all dismissed. Each council member bows their head and stands. They meander to the door, leaving one by one until only Loon and Sahi are left. Sahi looks between Loon and me, lingering by his chair. My queen, may I speak with you once we're adjoined? You may. Do you have need of me, my queen? No, General. The advisor and I must discuss something in private. All right. Sahi bows and walks out, looking back only once. He closes the door behind him. As soon as it clicks shut, Loon stands and whirls around to face me. My queen, I cannot believe that you would bring this to council without first discussing it with me. Are you mad? He speaks fast and with irritation plain, more emotion than I usually see from him. It catches me off guard, and it is several seconds before I can respond. No, in fact, I think it may be the solution we were looking for. And what of the southern kingdoms? What of them? What will they say when they see us giving Andromeda special treatment? Several of our treaties are only in place because they know we had a trade ban with Andromeda. I'm taken aback by this news. I hadn't realised. I know that all of our treaties took years, sometimes decades to put in place, and nearly all of them are on tenuous ground. Perhaps it is the nature of things, but the kingdoms seem to rebel against peace. Everyone always wants more, and this has to mean that others will get less. Well, we'd have to look into this as well. This is why we should have discussed this first. You have only been queen a month. You can't make these decisions on your own. Men of the Harem. Oh man, I need to go back into reading webtoons actually. I've still got to continue reading the Remarried Empress. I need to continue with the can't remember the name of it now, but there was one that was a bit creepy. And then also Marry My Husband, I think was another one. Loon steps close to me, eyes flashing. Sorry, I heard a noise. I was like, oh, and it's just like they're moving. Do you understand why the ban was instated? Andromeda was growing too powerful, bullying us with our own resources. If we remove it, it will only be a matter of time before their army is more powerful than we could ever imagine. They will wipe us off the map. If their king has any ounce of honor in his body, as my father seemed to think he does, then this will be a way to strengthen both of our kingdoms, which is the path forward. Yeah, but I haven't even got up to the point where, like, it stopped. Although part of me now is like, oh, maybe I won't continue reading until the end then, because I don't like waiting. If their king has ending the trade ban would be like handing Lotte to Andromeda on a silver platter. You say you do not want war, yet you bare our throats for the kill. I stand straight and not willing to take the accusation. No, Loon slams his hands down on the table and the sound startles me into silence. Loon, you're frightening me! Calm yourself, advisor. Loon's eyes widen and then he looks away. For a moment we sit in silence. It is an oppressive silence and I refuse to break it. This behaviour is completely inappropriate and out of character. What on earth has him so worked up about this idea? Is he truly so worried about what might happen? Please accept my apologies. I nod my head, watching his expression gradually revert to its usual neutral state. I suppose even Loon is allowed to have his outbursts every once in a while. Jupiter knows I do. He curls his fingers around the rosary wrapped around his wrist. Clearly I'm not in the right frame of mind to discuss this. Let us talk later. Loon turns and exits the room. I stare at the door for a moment before making my way over there myself. I have to consider what Loon, being my advisor, means. It would have been more appropriate for me to discuss it with him before bringing it to the council. Thinking of it this way, I can see why Loon would be angry. My father was a man who always followed the rules. Loon is not used to being blindsided like that, and he shouldn't have to be. I cannot let my anxiety take precedence over procedure. There are reasons the rules are the way they are. A knock on the door pulls me out of my thoughts. Celeste comes in with a curtsy. My queen, it is time for the royal favour. I blink in surprise. Really? Celeste tilts her head. Are you feeling alright? Yes, I've just been preoccupied lately. I forgot what day it was. I follow Celeste to the throne room, mentally preparing myself to greet the droves of commoners that always come on these days. It has been a long-held tradition that the royals imbue some of their divine favour in the people, but it can get rather dull, not to mention I'm unsure whether it truly works. I may have to check the men of the harem then. It sounds quite fun. But, I have got a lot of stuff I need to do. Loon would call that thinking blasphemy, but I can't help but feel we are too far from our ancestors. Upon arriving at the throne room, I see there is already a long line of people leading out the large double doors. I hold my head high and take the throne, settling in and nodding when I am ready to receive the first in line. It is a small girl of about 7. She skips up eagerly, falling to her knees at my feet. I suppress a smile, reaching out and pressing the very tips of her fingers to her head. She looks up at me and beams. I hold my hand out and she leans in to kiss it. The whole process takes no more than 5 seconds and the next person in line comes up. I can already feel myself beginning to zone out. Perhaps this is something I can discuss with the council about ending. I am queen now. After about 100 of my subjects have received divine favour, I notice a presence to my right. I glance over to see Ambassador Rift watching me. Is there something I can do for you, Ambassador? I was just thinking that this all seems rather bizarre. I like it. I love it how he just says it as it is. I glare at him. This is a long-held tradition of my people. Show some respect. But Sarah, you were thinking the exact same thing. Forgive me then. Annoyed that he echoed my earlier thoughts, I waved my free hand, focusing my attention back on the man currently kissing my hand. I'm looking forward to our next meeting. Have you had a chance to review the letters? Indeed. Your thoughts? You said you were looking forward to the meeting. I'd hate to spoil the surprise. I wait impatiently for him to leave me to my work, but he does not seem to have any intention of doing so. May I try? Is he... Maybe he's a love interest as well. Try what? To receive divine favour. Andrew Meda has no such practice. He's probably like, does it have magical powers? Oh, it makes me laugh. If you like, however, you'll have to wait in line. Said line is still out the door, no sign of the end in sight. The ambassador checks this for himself and then bows his head in defeat. I have to hide the smirk that threatens to curl my lips as he finally leaves my days. This is where he actually waits in line. I love that. Oh, Catherine, you really don't like him, do you? With the bother gone, I am able to zone out again, continuing the repetitive motions until I can do so without thinking. The guards do not allow people through the gates past noon, so I know about when I can expect the line to end. Hours later, another woman kisses my hand, bows and scurries off with a smile. It is a trying task, but it is nice to see that it makes people so happy. Perhaps I will leave the tradition be. Oh my god! Bless him, he actually waited! Oh my god! Why do I find that kind of adorable? I don't know. The next person in the line steps up and I'm startled to see the Andromedan ambassador. He kneels at my feet and bows his head. I have no idea what to do. I stare at him for so long that Celeste clears her throat. Your Highness, the favour. Ah. It takes me some time before I can bring myself to reach out and tap his curls. I hadn't expected him to actually wait. In fact, I was sure he would not. Why would he? I love it too, Rose Lover. Oh my god, it's amazing. He must be a love interest. He's got a CG of his own. Oh my god, I love these CGs though. They're so cute. Oh, that's adorable. Ambassador... So what is that white thing then? Is it armor? Maybe? Or is it just his hair? Maybe it's his hair that it's just white. Ambassador Rift looks up at me and takes my hand. His fingers are startlingly warm. I flinch against the unexpected heat and feel silly for it. The kiss he gives is brief and no different from any of the others. Afterward, he does not release my hand, and though my instinct is to pull it away, the sheer audacity of the whole situation makes me stiff. He looks up at me, expression as severe as usual, then he smirks. Perhaps it has some effect, after all. What? Speechless? Yes. Or I stare at him disapprovingly. Yeah, okay, so you forgot to shave that part. Oh my god. Yeah, I like the CG art more, actually. You can see his little beard thingy around it, but the white part isn't shaved like hair. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, it's really hard to say. Is it bad that this is my favorite guy? He's our enemy and I'm like, he waited in line, bless him. I don't know what to do. Let me save. I do not believe I have said anything more inelegant, but I can't seem to form any thoughts past the questions buzzing around in my mind. I can tell from the look in his eyes that I'm amusing him. I do my best to look regal and elegant and not at all confused, but I can't be assured I succeed. He leaves without bowing, and it takes everything in me not to watch him go. What on earth was that? My queen, the next so what would the others done? Load. Like, what text difference would it be? I take my hand back, utterly irritated that he would even be so patient simply to spite me. He seems far too smug for my liking, but I have no idea what to say. I cannot chastise him for following orders after all. Can I? No, I suppose not. Your turn is over. I load my voice with as much frost as I can muster, but he is unaffected. He leaves without a bow. Oh my god. Okay, what's the other one then? Okay, what's the speechless one? Canity, to be fair, I was thinking that in my mind, and that's why people don't know what the king looks like. Enemies into lovers. Yeah. Our eyes meet, and I see an unexpected spark of amusement in his. Is this but a game to him? My cheeks flush, and I can't be sure if it is an anger or embarrassment. Finally, I come back to myself enough to jerk my hand out of his, curling my fingers into my palm. The sudden loss of heat seems to make it easier to breathe. Ambassador, your turn is over. Of course. He rises and leaves without bowing, watching my mouth agape, and my side Celeste wears the same expression. My queen, the next subject is ready. I snap my attention back ahead. I cannot bring myself to uncurl my fingers, so I reach out my other hand to the next in line. I had said it was fine for him to join the line, but I had not expected him to, and I certainly had not expected whatever that was. Was it anything? He did precisely what everyone else has. I don't know why I feel so flustered. Perhaps it is because members of the court do not usually engage in activities for commoners, certainly not council members. To what end had he done that? Just to get a rise out of me, I'm sure. And he'd succeeded. I find myself glancing at the corridor he left from, wishing I might pay him one last visit. My queen, the next subject. I sit up straight and thrust out a hand to pat whoever's next, a little harder than necessary. I'm going to have words in my next letter to King Arlam about that cheeky ambassador of his. Regardless of what happens, I certainly will not tolerate his presence in future in-person meetings. After the last of the commoners are gone, I slump in my seat, the throne room finally empty save for the guards, Celeste and I. I believe that it is just about time for your afternoon tea with advisor La Mare, Your Majesty. That is all you have to say? Did you see that man? What man? I jump from my seat, intent on reminding her of what occurred, but her sudden burst into laughter stops me. I'm only joking, my queen. Wow, you're still so worked up about it. That was awfully bold of him. I scoff. More than. It's a shame you can't marry him instead. You must be joking. Marry that impertinent man. Hey Hika, welcome. Celeste giggles and I roll my eyes. I forgot that she has a terrible habit of inventing romance where there is none. I believe she calls it shipping. I'm positive if I tried to speak any further, she'll only insist that we're destined or some rot like that. So instead, I push the Andromeda ambassador out of my head entirely and lead the way to the study. Normally, Celeste would depart around this hour to take her lunch, but she falls into step behind me. Yeah. So I've changed my mind. I no longer want Sahi. I want the ambassador. Doctor. Sorry, my brain just blanked there. So instead I pushed Andromeda ambassador. Wish the royal painter had been present. Your face when he came up next in line nearly made me cry. I was trying so hard not to laugh. Yeah, my brain went really blank there. I know, right? We all shit people. Huh? Why are you apologizing, Catherine? Well, I'm glad you got some entertainment out of that. 3 more royal favors while he's here. Think he'll come again? He had better not. I'm going to write a formal complaint to King Arlem. And what will you say? King Arlem, I am writing to complain that your ambassador asked me to be involved in a traditional latte activity and then participated after I gave him permission? I fold my arms across my chest and do not speak to Celeste the rest of the way to the study. She giggles for the whole journey and continues even after I yank open the door and go inside. Luna's waiting, sitting at the table. No ambassador stands allowed. Luna's waiting, sitting at the table with the tea set already ready. When he sees me, his expression goes from bored to annoyed, and he lets out a long, suffering sigh. It's what he always does before our tea time. It's become a ritual of sorts. He silently complains, and I ignore him. My queen, advisor. I can't help but feel hesitant to approach after the way our meeting ended this morning. Must we meet like this every day? We spend enough time together on matters of policy, and I have better things to do. My father said that one of the most important aspects of ruling is cultivating close relationships with your council. Well, your father and I didn't have tea every day like a gaggle of gossips. You should not be so contradictory, advisor. First, you complain I don't tell you enough, now you complain we talk too much. Loon lifts his head to glower at me. If I must sit here, I refuse to do so and be antagonized. Was there something he actually wanted to discuss? You know what? I feel the same way. I don't know. He's just a bit. He's a bit. I guess Tsun. Catherine has a water gun. I can hear the hopeful note in Loon's voice as he tries to bait me into speaking of something, anything with the slightest bit of importance. So I decide to meet him halfway. What do you think of the Andromedan ambassador? How do you mean? I mean, don't you think he's rather mouthy for an ambassador? He speaks more like a member of the King's Council. Did you notice that he was leading those talks the entire time the other day? Not so unusual on foreign soil. Perhaps in Andromeda the ambassadors are of a higher standing. I consider this with a frown and pour myself a cup of tea. The sight of the stream rising from my cup has an instant effect of relaxation. I bring it to my nose and inhale the herbaceous aroma. So then, have you made your choice? Now it is my turn to sigh. There is only one rule during tea time, and Loon is apparently incapable of following it. I sip my tea to make him wait for the answer. Yeah, I'm the same. It goes Ambassador, Sahi, and then Loon. Yeah. Tall, dark, and handsome. Exactly. He's got it all. I still have time. Not much of it. This is tea time. You know that discussing business is strictly forbidden. If not business, then what else have we to discuss? We are not friends, my queen. I am your advisor and you are my queen. Perhaps because of our fight earlier, Loon's words grow more heated than I feel is necessary. I understand his frustration. I feel it in myself. But all I want to do is have an hour where I can think of nothing at all and drink tea and perhaps let my falcon out for a flight. Oh. If you're truly so against tea together, you're free to leave. Must you make everything difficult? We will discuss whatever I feel like because, as you said, I am your queen. You have been quick to anger recently. Is something wrong? I ignore him and continue to drink my tea. We could be friends. That's cute. Loon narrows his eyes so far he's squinting at me. What a pointless abuse of power. It's all I can not do not to stick my tongue out at him. I managed to maintain a regal facade, sitting straight backed and crossing my legs the way my father used to lecture me about. Look, advisor Lemaire, the weather is simply lovely today. I gesture to the window and Loon responds without even looking. You can't be serious. Do you think that cloud looks like a duck? Loon bares his teeth as if my small talk brings him physical pain. He brought it upon himself. Why can't we not just enjoy a simple cup of tea together? She clearly wants to drink with Loon because, you know, she shouldn't be drinking with her handmaid. Fancy, that's true. Where are the ladies in waiting? Well, advisor, don't you think that cloud looks like a duck? Loon smooths the hand down his face and shakes his head in a controlled metronome-like motion. No end in sight. No, as a matter... Oh, I completely missed that. No, as a matter of fact, I don't think so. Because... These wiggly letters. Oh my god. I think, like, she should be having... I guess she can't have tea with any of her, like, other friends because they're men. And then, like, you wouldn't have tea with your maid, I guess. There are no clouds. Unable to help myself any longer, laughter drops from my lips. It's so sudden and impolite, I bring a hand to my mouth to cover it. Finding Loon's withering glare afterward only makes the laughter come harder. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, my queen. There probably is, but I'm just being dumb about it. Maybe it isn't an option anymore. Oh, I am. What a wonderful idea, tea time. You should try to relax, advisor. So much negativity can't be good for your health. But you know what is? Tea. Loon reaches forward and pours himself a cup of tea, tossing it back as if he were drinking mead instead. Hi, Jenny. Yeah, but then everyone's an underling. He's an advisor, so he's the only one that's allowed to be in the room. With the... Hi, Liz. Welcome. That's true, Rose Lover. That's true. They would have to, yeah. Goodness, slow down. He pours another cup and drinks this one only marginally slower. I'm surprised he has not burnt his tongue. Once he finishes the second cup, he sets it down and breathes in and out deeply. Loon presses 2 fingers from his left hand to his temple. Alright, I suppose I can see the benefit of informal gatherings between a queen and an advisor. But can these gatherings not also be in a setting that allows us to be productive? Such as? We could hold them in the council room and complete paperwork while we have our tea. I shake my head warily. Tea time is supposed to be relaxing. How am I supposed to relax over paperwork? Your father managed. I sip at my tea, staring down at the smooth brown liquid. Inevitably, my mind drifts to my father's death. It came as an immense shock to us all. Poisoning? The entire castle had been searched, and every single staff member interrogated. I had to have a tea test to taste everything. Oh, what have I done? I'm just being really like ridiculous now. Poisoning. The entire castle had been searched and every single staff member interrogated. I had to have a taste test to taste everything I put into my mouth for weeks. I see, so father died due to poison. Seeing my father like that, limp in my arms, I always saw him as some bigger-than-life, invincible thing. I should know better than anyone that royals have flaws and limitations just like normal people. The conversation dies after that, and before long our tea time is over. Loon leaves with a bow, but I remain sitting for a time watching the window. I finish off my cup, then rise and walk to my falcon's cage. Betel feathers his wings when I open it, cocking her head. Go on, you must be in desperate need of stretching your wings. Betel bobs up and down for a moment before gliding out of their cage and to the window. She pecks at it impatiently and I laugh as I walk over to open it. As she takes off, I direct my eyes below. Near the stables I see Ambassador Rift holding the falcon I'd seen out the window earlier. The sight makes me frown. Was he sending secret messages back to Andromeda? Where did he even get a falcon? It was not as if we had guessed ones lying about, and I can't imagine he'd travel with one. Unsettled, I rise from the window seat and pour myself another cup of tea. Rift must be the king. I feel like he is. You must rest as much as you work, otherwise the work is pointless because it won't happen. Varga, oh my god, you did not just say that. Oh my god. A week comes and goes, and now I have just a few short hours before the next meeting with Ambassador Rift. Something tells me I will need more than tea to get through it. We meet back in the conference room, Ambassador Rift and I in the centre of it all. Well, have you confirmed my claim to your satisfaction? Perhaps I imagine it, but the smug look on his face makes irritation prickle up my spine. Nevertheless, I attempt to remain gracious. I have reviewed the letters and agree that the late king's intention was to arrange a marriage between King Arlem and me. The ambassador nods and folds his arms across his chest. So it is decided. Decided? You will marry King Arlem. Whispers break out across the room, but I remain as calm as I am able. I did not say that. Now that I am the queen, any previously existing contracts, verbal or written, may be renegotiated at my leisure. Now see here. This is Lorte law. I will allow you time to review it if you'd like. I look to council member Bellatrix. Bring me Law 7, sections F through L. Bellatrix rises, but before they can take a step, the ambassador looses a frustrated noise and pounds the table with his fist. Your pride will be the death of your kingdom. He stands as if he might leave and end the meeting then and there. I stand as well, not wanting to let him use his size to intimidate me. It is not a matter of pride, it's a matter of making the right decision for my people. As I mentioned, all contracts are subject to review. This includes the trade ban. Both councils burst into motion, and voices bounce off the ceiling, tangling so entirely as to sound as one entity. My council implores me to consider my words wisely, while Andromeda circles around the ambassador speaking to him in rapid-fire Andromeda jargon. Seriously, and the general is like a big brother. The ambassador is the only one with a steam level above 0. I guess. At my side, Loon regards me with a steady glare. Silence. I hold up a fist. It takes longer than I would like, but gradually the noise fades. Once it has, I retake my seat, willing the nerves not to show on my face. I can't go back now. The late king would never have considered lifting the trade ban. I am not him. He frowns, fingers dragging down his beard as he sits again. The council members to either side of him lean in, continuing to whisper something I can't make out. I can't tell from their expressions whether they are for or against the idea. This is something to consider. I have no formal proposals just yet, and I am making no promises. My decision not yet made, but am I incorrect in assuming that this is an option you would accept? The ambassador looks around at his council. They say nothing. but he seems to glean something from their faces. Ambassador Rift faces me and nods his... Okay, nods his acquiescence, leaning forward in his seat. Yes, and you truly speak for the king? Do not doubt it. If the ban were to be abolished, what? I feel like it too. Like, I feel like they work well together, but I don't know. As the Queen said, nothing formal has been discussed yet. Details shall be cemented should she decide this is the desired path. The ambassador looks impatient, but nods his acceptance of this regardless. I look to Loon, a little annoyed to be spoken for, but I know my revelation of Sahi's idea likely flustered him. Let us not speak on the subject any more for now. Then we shall continue our discussion from last week. There are still some things I'd like to make clear. Imagine just asking that flat out, right? That has yet to be seen. It is not unreasonable to ask what I should expect going into an entirely new kingdom with entirely new duties. The ambassador frowns as if he does not like that I have a point. Traditionally, the second monarch acts as the face of the kingdom. They are responsible for foreign policy, negotiating treaties, expanding borders, and writing the quarterly missives. However, since you know nothing of Andromeda's domestic policy, those duties would be inappropriate. Try not to show my irritation at these words. Inappropriate for a second monarch to handle matters of foreign policy? On what planet? And if I were to learn Andromeda's domestic policy, then it would be up for negotiation. It is, of course, King Arlem's desire to have a competent second at his side, but you have to prove that you are one before receiving responsibilities. I nod my satisfaction at these terms. Understandable. I stare down at the map, eyes lingering on the etched name Andromeda. It is somewhat reassuring to hear that I would be given actual responsibilities should I earn them, but at the same time I already have those responsibilities here. Responsibilities I have not even begun to take over from the council. I'm still in the midst of my studies. My first real experience as queen could be in Andromeda. The thought is disconcerting. I'm surprised you have an interest. The other suitors that vied for the king's attention were content with surface level matters. I would hardly say I'm vying for the king's attention, but I am queen. I have no desire to be so only in name. He nods in approval, which irritates me for some reason. Right then, tell me more about Andromeda's recent acquisitions. No matter how we go over it, I don't feel any better about the idea of marriage. Andromeda feels like one giant mystery, and the ambassador seems intent on keeping it that way. Many of my questions are dodged, if not outright ignored. Eventually, I grow tired of this. I think we have accomplished all we can this meeting. Let us adjourn for now. I know, right? I know, right? Yes, I'll look forward to your proposal for lifting the trade ban. Council members have a tendency to linger, and so it is not until several minutes later that everyone clears the room. Soon it is just Sahi, Loon, and I. My queen. General, a word. Sahi turns to the guard outside the door that addresses him, then back to me. After a hesitant glance at Loon, he bows and steps outside. The heavy door swings shut behind him. The ambassador seems open to your trade ban idea. Yes, I think it went well. Do you? Yes, I thought that I might refuse the potential to broaden their access to precious metals by 70%. Alright, fine. I still think we can come up with a solution to benefit both of us, or limit them, if that's what you think is best. Loon leaves looking annoyed. I suspect he's only upset nothing has blown up in my face the way he expected. Yet. And I think... Actually, I want to know why the guard's troubled. When I leave the council room, Luna's gone, but Sahi is still there speaking to one of the guards, who looks troubled. Hearing me coming, Sahi glances over, then beckons me closer. My queen, one of the southern windows was found unlocked this afternoon. Is that unusual? They're locked every evening and not unlocked until the first rotation has lunch. My queen, when they went to unlock it, they found it already was. I rest my hands on my hips and squeeze, an uneasy feeling circling in my stomach. Do not worry, my queen, we'll post a guard outside your room tonight, just in case. Thank you, General. Sahi nods at the guard, who bows to me before heading back to his post. I turn to look out the nearest window, scanning the grounds below as if I might see someone sneaking around there. I've never been paranoid about assassins because as an heir, generally, the threat is to the one in charge. I always thought that assassination was the result of poor, cruel leaders, but my father said something once that now comes to mind. No matter how wise a queen you are, there will always be those who want more from you. My queen, are you alright? Oh yes, I'm glad this was caught. Of course, the guards take the safety of everyone in the castle very seriously. Sahi looks down the hall for a moment and clears his throat. Thanks for bringing up my idea to the ambassador. I wasn't sure you were being serious. I would not joke about that, though it might be more complicated than I thought. Sahi tilts his head in question. I shake my own. Do not concern yourself with it. If you're sure, are you still planning on attending your lesson today? It's about that time. Startled, I look outside again, checking the sky. Oh, today, goodness. I've lost track of time these past few days. I'll join you soon then. Just allow me to change. Sahi smiles and nods and we part ways. And I think I will end this stream here. Ooh, that's the thing. I guess because it's a demo, they're trying to like cover all the plot before. We've seen like snippets of romance because none with Loon, but there was a hugging scene with what's his face, Sahi, and then there was the, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was cute, the one with the ambassador where he lines up for her. Oh, Kayla, I'm so sorry, I'm literally about to leave. But it's I think the reason why it's celestial crowns is because like they're all on different planets and I don't know, it is very like sparkly and lots of stars kind of. Like you've got different, your personality is affected by your choices and like your choices are associated with different planets. But yeah, it's quite plot dense so far. I'm sorry, Kayla. I was kind of happy as well because I haven't seen you in forever. But thank you for dropping by anyway. I appreciate it. And what was I thinking? Oh yeah, Kickstarter is live right now. So if you're curious about this game and you want to download the demo and see what it's like, then obviously go do that now because, you know, it's the best time. I don't actually know how long the demo is, so I don't actually know how far into it I am, but yeah. Yeah, I did start another game with a dead father, didn't I? It was Imperial Grace. maybe it's the in thing. It's hard to say really, but yeah, maybe it is the in thing. I guess it's kind of exciting because like, I don't know. I guess it's like Game of Thronesy. I know my job has been crazy lately, looking forward to a less busy season. Oh, that's fair enough, Kayla. Well, good luck with your work and stuff. Hopefully it calms down a bit. But yeah, thank you guys for coming along. This week I will hopefully have a video. It won't be a stream though. And then next week I'm in Japan, so... Oh, but Friday, so tomorrow, I will be streaming Yandere Valley on Twitch. So bear that in mind. But anyway, as always, Kay, thank you very much for coming along. And hopefully I'll see you again. Bye!